Let us see, Isagi the sky. How shall you handle your very world changing? What's up, guys? Like with a pencil here from that human to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. Here's a fun fact here. I mean, are you really shocked? Are you really bamboozled? Are you truly blown? You know what time it is. It's peak log time, peak every week, so you know I had to pre-draw it, and I'm excited. Obviously, with last chapter ending up with Isagi going even further, deeper down to the mental crisis of like, is Blue Lock right? Is Suitable Destiny right? Is this, that, and the third? We're in an interesting position. A very interesting position. Interesting catalyst too, right? The game's basically back to neutral. I'm not sure how much time has passed in universe. If I had to hazard a guess, probably at most like 30 minutes. And I say at most, maybe 15. Like, it feels like this game has been bang, 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 bang. Like, it's a lot has happened in relatively few plays. So, regardless, we're in an interesting spot in terms of the narrative, in terms of how much of a threat France is, in terms of how our Blue Lock cast, Isagi especially, is going to react to this whole Suitable Destiny idea. Whether, specifically, a thing that excites me. Whoa. It feels so weird speaking right now. But a thing that has me particularly excited and very intrigued is Ego and how he's going to deal with this infection or seeming infection of Suitable Destiny and whether or not it conflicts or aligns with egoism. And I'm going to talk about that a whole lot. So I'm excited. So let's not waste any more time. Let's hop right into chapter 337 for the blue. BL Japan has caught up. This white hot match is just getting started, folks. Golly, that's true. Man, I ain't better, but I am not fully better, and I can feel it, dog. I can feel it, and it feels so awkward and weird. I like it. I hate this. But let's see. What is happening in Blue Lock? Where's this team trying to go? Well, I'll wait, because I'm gonna have a whole complicated little back and forth, little 50-50 discussion based on what I've been told in the comments, based on my own perspective. Someone who doesn't play soccer doesn't necessarily get egoism, or at least also just my own interpretation of egoism and how it feeds into Blue Lock and its progression or its lack of progression, this, that, and the third. But let's see. Shout out to Shigiri hopping right on Hiyori, dog. The two, like, I'd say, I'd say like C tiers, the two C tiers of their respective sides, even of their respective like egotist league teams. Hiyori kind of was like the C guy, and so was Chigiri. Despite Chigiri, actually, no, I'd say Chigiri is a bit higher in terms of his neo-egotist league team, but still, an interesting combo. I like that they're posted up together. Look at RU flexing, Bachira sliding in. Look at that sliding kick Hiyori's ankles out from under him. I don't know whose leg this is, maybe Isagi's, but let's see. Where's this team trying to go? What should I believe in? Oh, okay. Ego's sitting there like, what you think? You know what though? I get that. Here's the thing, right? On a base fundamental level, I understand the nature of results versus application, right? Well, like, as much as I don't like something, right, or I fundamentally disagree with it, if I see the results working out well, it's hard to disagree, right? Like, okay, I don't like how such and such is happening, but clearly whenever someone is doing such and such, it works. So why not do that? And then I get the results, I'm like, okay, that's why I'm doing that. There's a lot of different things you've seen me do, like, especially if you go back to some of my older videos as to now, heck, things in my recording setup, things how I record, things that the third, things how I edit. Like, there are a whole bunch of things where I just looked at it, I'm like, I don't actually get this. I don't really like it. In terms of some ways, shapes, and or forms, it feels a little bit weird. But you just do it, you get used to it, you adapt, and you get those results. That just is the kind of like the process of life, and I do believe a very important thing is to not stay too stuck in one's ideals. I think the idea of anyone having perfect ideals is kind of and thusly you should always be like evolving, taking in new data, inputting new data, getting new results, and essentially experimenting. So, for Isagi, a character so heavily... Why are my ears like this? For Isagi, a character so heavily steeped in logic, right? And the understanding of certain outcomes. He's looking at what just happened, and it's like, well, that did work, and that clearly wasn't egoism, right? Like, at least in the understanding that we have of egoism right now, heck, my own understanding, what Isagi bore witness to was not egoism. It was, in fact, suitable destiny. In a way, a super suitable destiny, which is hilarious because of who the person who scored, who was literally forced on a suitable destiny path by their parents, which was a whole thing of Yoi's character arc where he didn't want to do that, but he ended up doing it because his parents wanted him to. It's a very whole complicated mess of a thing, but it worked. They did score. They tied up. Isagi wasn't working. So they switched off Isagi. Karasu became dedicated to being number 2, and they scored, tying the game. That is just what happened. And when you're faced with such a logical result like that, I don't blame Isagi for being like, darn, gang. What I mean, what that mean? Like genuinely, I do not blame him. That makes sense as a logical conflict for him to go into right now. I'll still wait before I go into like egoism versus suitable destiny. Well, I think technically egoism, I believe in like to be fair, I specifically I commented to ASMR in particular about like, I think that egoism interpretation is wrong, but that is my interpretation of egoism, and they brought up a fantastic point about how if so many characters are misinterpreting my interpretation of egoism, then maybe Ego needs to do a better job of explaining egoism. So we'll get to that in a second. But with it being the case, look at Ego being like, Gangaruni, I swear. Let's see. Ego. Oh, but you know what? A very interesting thing about this, and it's funny because of what happened with the whole idea of like the god of football. I think a very, very clear, like, I'd say counterpoint to suitable destiny, at least in terms of what Isagi is currently seeking and what other players would likely accidentally seek, whether or not they believe in the god of football or not. I don't think the god of football would ever come to someone who's determined to be number 2. I just don't. I don't see the vision on that one. I don't really see them showing up being like, hey, yo, it's good, dog. We can do this together. No, I don't see that happening. I do 100% believe it does need to be an egotist. But of course, Ego is on bench. He experienced that moment, never hit it again, then gave up. But let's see. Ego-sana. Hey, Isagi, come here. Oh, Cross was like, Gangaruni. We have a chat real quick. Let's see. Huh? Let's keep using it. Wait, hold on. I'm so sorry. Like, to explain, I'm like, I don't think I'm not fully sick anymore, but like I can still hear it. It's in my throat. It's like a little bit, and like my left ear is more clogged than my right ear, and my right ear is still a little bit clogged. So like everything sounds weird, and this left nostril is congested. Like it's just a mess. Ooh, I can breathe through both nostrils. Hold on, I need to take a sip. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to record though. I need to record though, so I'm recording. I'm way better than I was. I couldn't record for like the past 2 days. I was jacked up, but we're slightly less jacked up. So let's see. Let's keep. He looks so innocent here. This face does not match Karasu. I feel like this is definitely Karasu's face model, but this look, it does not match Karasu. Let's see. Let's keep on using this method now. Huh? They're covering you too heavily, so the plans we practice ain't working. So I'm gonna keep. Wait. Oh, English. So I'm gonna focus on helping to set up shots, just like I did. I'll figure out new. I can't read. I can't speak. I hate these. Oh, to be fair, I can't read in general. It's like it's not new. But the sickness isn't helping. Let's see. I'll figure out new ways to score goals without you. That's the only way we can beat France, right? As it stands now, I get it. Because, like, the only other alternative, right? And very specifically, I think this is a good point. Is a good thing to focus on. The alternative is throwing oneself against a brick wall to legitimately no avail. And what's the point in that, right? Like, ultimately, especially with the whole idea of victory matters no matter how you get it. You go the more logical pathway, right? Okay, France is never going to hop off Isagi's meat, so deal with it. And then work around that. Use that fact to your advantage. If they're going to be watching Isagi the entire time, let a Karasu go crazy as number 2. Let the many other people who can score on Blue Lock go absolutely crazy. If Isagi can't even facilitate, good. Have him be a Loki type where he just draws aggro, right? Like that's perfectly fine. Utilize that. That does make sense. I'm not even going to sit here and say it doesn't. And then, what's the other thing I was going to say? Aggro. Makes sense. Logic. There's something else I was gonna say. Figure out new ways to score goals without you. The thing I could see, right, where this could work, and you saw you could still do something other than just being aggro bait or like need to be subbed off. Very specifically, I could see this working where it's kind of like Kaisler and Lorenzo, right? where ultimately for a majority of the Ubers game, Kaiser was just locked down. Lorenzo recognized him as the ace and was like, dog, I'm gonna eat you. And then just never let him do anything. But the instant, the second that aggro was taken off of him, he immediately went and scored. That's what Isagi needs to do. He unironically, he needs to take a few game step back, go back to Uber's Kaiser, and go buku bonkers in that sense. Because he basically is kind of the Kaiser of Blue Lock at this moment with the whole, oh, you're the ace, you're the heart of the team, this, that, and the third. Like, he is in that position. Obviously, I do want to see Rin, like just deal with it too. The fact that he's also, like, they're focusing a lot on Isagi, because Isagi obviously is the heart of Blue Lock, but still, Rin is also one of their main attacking cores, right? So, with it being the case, I want to see Rin, like, obviously Rin's like, I don't care, I'm a bulldoze through him anyway, but clearly it's not going to work, at least seemingly not. So, I'm interested to see how Rin is going to play off that, while Isagi also presumably plays off of it. But let's see. Especially, like, I do want to see him fill a more Kaiser-esque role. I know they're not the same character, but the whole point of the Ace League is that they have, like, a same build archetype. So it would be interesting to see Isagi play that, like, sleeper role where he comes in, and then the second, like, true peak prime second selection Isagi, where he's in everyone's shadows, no one's looking at him anymore because everyone else has been focused on new things, and then he comes in, sneaks a goal, delicious. Let's see. And it could even fit into the whole idea of the whole coppers and robbers things, or the cops and robbers thing that's set up with, like, strikers and defenders where Isagi would steal a goal. Let's see. Sure. But are you okay? See, okay. And this is it. This is it. All right. So, let me wiggle my toes. Hold on. Let me take the flip-flops off. Wiggle my toes. Tickle my nose. Do I need to blow it? I can breathe through both my nostrils right now, so I don't need to blow it. But I'm going to tickle my nose. Wait, no. I'm going to wiggle my toes, tickle my nose, and speak in prose. As I think Isagi... Ooh, I think he's... Okay. Are you okay with throwing away your life as a striker, Karasu? I think Isagi he's sort of lost the plot, or I think, funnily enough, he I'm so sorry. Oh, sweet mother mercy. Ah! Oh, my body. Oh, I hate it. Hold on, give me one sec. Ah! Oh, I'm sorry. But I think Isagi has lost a little bit of the plot on Blue Lock and Egoism. Isagi, brother, amigo, potato chip. This is a big thing. Egoism does not necessarily mean just striker things. It doesn't. It does not mean. In fact, I'm not saying Blue Lock has moved on from the idea of creating the world's greatest striker, but I do believe Blue Lock has, and Ego's philosophy in general, has been focused on creating the greatest version of oneself. Now, for some characters, like Isagi Yoichi, the greatest version of himself is a striker. He's repeatedly been hit with the CAM allegations, with the midfield allegations, but obviously his dream, his ideals, his motivation is to be a striker. And such, following that, his entire Blue Lock journey and Egoism journey has been around getting in that striker role, getting that position. But we know for a fact that Ego does not just focus on strikers. And in fact, Blue Lock itself doesn't just focus on strikers. We have characters like Nika. We have characters like Aryu. We have characters like Gagamaru. We have multiple other characters who, thanks to their specifications, have been put in positions and places that best fit their niche, interests, capabilities, and motions. They have, quote-unquote, hit a suitable destiny. But the difference between the suitable destiny and the egoism, and why I think egoism reigns supreme, is specifically because you can have the best parts of suitable destiny with egoism. Because since egoism and Blue Lock itself isn't just about, well, to be fair, I'd say more so egoism, the ideology, rather than Blue Lock. Because obviously the thesis statement of Blue Lock is, we're going to create the world's best striker here in Japan, right? So Blue Lock itself technically is that. But egoism, the philosophy, the mentality that Ego's been trying to, like, unscrew knock the dome off, unscrew, and drill into his players' heads, I think that is more so the idea of being the best at what you are, absolutely, right? Like, ultimately, there is an understanding that there can only be one world's greatest striker. And thusly, they're going to compete for that role for those who are committed to the striker role. But that does not mean if you're a defender, you shouldn't be the best defender you should be. As of yourself and you. You shouldn't aim to be the number 2 defender, the number 3 defender, the number 4. You should be the number 1. The greatest version of you can be. Same thing for Gagamaru as a goalkeeper. Greatest goalkeeper he can be. Same thing for midfielders. Greatest midfielder you can be. Greatest right wing you should be. Greatest left wing you should be. Like, you should be the greatest, the best, and that should be your ideal. You shouldn't ever settle for a lower rank, because innately by doing that, you are quote unquote, and to be fair, ASMR and others have pointed out this is a very important thing. Like, it's not entirely true, right? Notably, I can't even speak from proper experience, because have I, like, I'm trying to legit think. Have I ever really been number one, like in like an overall? Not really, not really. I'm trying to think over my, because there's always been someone smarter, there's always been someone stronger, there's always been someone faster, there's always been someone bigger, right? So I've never technically, your boy has never been number one, but I would say technically, by my own definition, my own mentality, I do live by a more egotist mindset than a suitable destiny mindset, because when I go to do something, I'm doing do the best of my ability in that thing, right? I do my best with content creation. I do my best with my professional work. I do my best with my exercise. I do my best with everything. And that's that, like, that's the point, right? Getting your best out as you, the individual. That's what egoism is about. Isagi Yoichi is too centralized on the idea of, oh, well, egoism / blue lock means striker. That's not true. If it was true, literally what? So the main, like, core strikers that don't really do much else. I mean, like, I tend to have to remove Isagi from that, because he's a striker that does a whole lot. Same thing with Ren. Like, the only quote-unquote pure strikers are none. Like, what? Straight none. Because even Shido has, like, one defensive play, I think. Like, he like, Shido's played defense, but to be fair, I think strikers do play defense really well, too. But still, you know what I mean, right? The idea of the, oh, Buluki's only delegated to being the great, that's not really a thing. But, as ASMR pointed out in particular, if I'm able to give that interpretation, and I think that's the interpretation that Ego is going for. The fact that Isagi Yoichi and others have this confusion quite consistently. He already had the confusion back in the Ubers match. Isagi's having the confusion right now. Multiple characters have had this confusion. Ego does need to do a better job of explaining that. And who knows? That is my interpretation of egoism, based on what I've seen in the narrative and how multiple other characters have been treated. I'm looking at the narrative from a top-down, third-person, omniscient viewer perspective, right? So I'm able to rip that out from my interpretation of egoism. But that may just flat out be wrong. I don't think I am wrong, because I'm kind of just like, I'm kidding, but I don't think I am wrong. But I can see ASMR and others' point, where even if my ideal version of egoism, which is like be the best at what you are doing no matter what, always focus on being the number one at what you are, don't essentially submit yourself to something lesser when you could always go for something greater in terms of yourself. In that case, ego should explain that better so there isn't so much confusion. There's no point in narrative, like, that's a case of, like, I'm not sure if I'm using this word correctly, so I'm going to look it up before I do it, but I almost want to say that's a case of ludonarrative dissonance, but that's gameplay though, right? Complex video games there is gameplay. Okay, so it's not, so I think it'd just be a case of narrative dissonance. Let me just do narrative dissonance. Okay, it's ludonarrative, if narrative dissonance isn't a thing. Okay. I only see ludonarrative. I'm not saying anything about narrative, but let's just go with dissonance. A lack of harmony among musical notes. Okay, a tension or clash resulting from a combination of two disharmonious or unsuitable elements. That is a case of ego being the super logic smart man. In universe, he should have explained it clearly so there isn't this confusion. And so Hugo couldn't come in and wiggle the suitable destiny fingers around and get everyone confused. Obviously, I think it's more left up to interpretation for us and for characters, including the players in universe, because Blue Lock at the end of the day is a story. So we do need to see these characters struggle with their perceptions and their perspectives. If Ego were to explain egoism perfectly, or even in a way that I explain, which probably isn't perfect, far from it, then I think there would be less character conflict. But let's see. Huh? It ain't like I'm throwing it away. Oh, okay, interesting. Let's see. I know you've done the same thing before. You do stuff like temporarily assist to help set up the team to win. Yeah, I am. But you know what though? And this is a big thing. The Isagi that did that of the past was still centering himself. I think that's the big difference between suitable destiny and egoism, right? Just like, for example, this is a good real life example. I'm about to say, for example, it did have a real life example, but like, think of it like this. I do not really like certain machines on certain days, but I do them anyway because I don't want muscle imbalance, right? Like there's some machines on leg day in particular where I'm like, I really don't feel like doing this right now, dog. It's 5 a.m. I do not want to do it, but I do it. 4 sets, 16 reps each, 18 reps on the last set. Why? Because I need to do it. And now that I've done it, my knees don't hurt no more. So like there are things you do even if you don't want to, but ultimately it's for the what goal? What goal? For still centering yourself, putting yourself up on top. You do certain workouts, you work a certain job you may not like, or you do things within your job that you may like as a whole, but there's something you don't like about it. You work to make the whole you better. The issue or the difference between what Karasu is doing now versus what Isagi was doing back then, and it seems like Isagi may not have a counter piece to that. There is Isagi, I'm thinking back, like, in the Manchun game, very particularly, Isagi giving up the ball to Yukimiya. I don't know why I keep messing it up. I've been saying, I know it's Yukimiya, giving up the ball to Yukimiya. That was, technically, him giving up his life as a striker. But what was that to do? To specifically center himself over and defeat Kaiser as a playmaker. That was an in the moment, that sounds so stupid, but in the moment where he did not score his own goal for the sake of himself in a grander sense. The playmaker. Ultimately, Isagi was still feeding himself. All the way back in the Barcher game, he just needed to give himself some value. So, he gave himself that assist for Kunigami to give himself value on the pitch. He needed to do that, or else he would have been fried. And thusly, he was ultimately serving himself, even if he wasn't scoring the goal. Uber's Isagi Yoichi was just like that. He beat Kaiser as a striker. But, same thing with PXG, he just beat Kaiser as a striker again. But, there is that difference. Never in any of those moments was Isagi like, I'm going to give up, or no, I'm going to now be number two forever. I'm not going to be the greatest number 2 I get. No, Isagi's like, I'm going to be the greatest number 1. Here's how I do it in this moment. There's that difference in rationalization. It's like you can punch me in the face right now for one reason, and someone could punch me in the face right now for a different reason. The reasons why y'all punch me in the face still led to the same result, but they meant different things. That's what I mean here. Let's see. I just did the same thing now. Kinda. Let's see. You're gonna talk about life as a striker. Then what about Kagamaru and playing goalie? All the guys playing defense. They ain't strikers. And that's true. And that's why I think egoism versus Blue Lock's thesis, while they intermingle and wiggle their toes together and link sometimes, they are still like fundamentally disconnected. Because egoism is broader. Egoism is greater. It allows for an absolute and a wide variety of things. Meanwhile, for the case of Isagi Yoichi desu ka, there is, at least in his interpretation of it, there is no broader scope. As if he defines egoism solely by being a striker. But let's say. Yeah, but still, something about your new attitude just doesn't sit. See, that's the thing. He doesn't have the words for it. I still do find myself aligning with Isagi, even though I think he's wrong. I think Karasu right now he's in one of those scenarios where, have you ever been in an argument where you know you're right, but for some reason your brain just isn't working with you, right? It's the magical spell where you're like, you're like this, you always do such and such, and someone's like, okay, name me one time I've done that, and suddenly every single, they could have done it 10 times, 20 times, 100 times. Your brain, it's like a dispel spell. It's immediately like gone. Everything vanishes. Isagi, if he was able to word it right, my response to Karasu would be, well, to be fair, Isagi's sort of lost on the premise of, are you okay with throwing away your life as a striker? He should have said, are you okay with not being the best version of yourself? Are you okay with throwing away your centralization of self? I mean, that's big words for him, but like still, that would have been a better question to ask. Throwing away your life as a striker, that, like, Karasu, technically, he hits the layups. He hits the layups on responses, because under the premise that Isagi Yoichi is debating on, Karasu wins because Isagi Yoichi is going on a wrong perspective of egoism. But of course, whose fault is that? Who set that system up? That'd be ego. Let's see. And see, yeah, I don't blame Karasu for this response. And see, and as a person who's used that dispel, like, admittedly, I don't do it often, but sometimes where I think I am solidly right in argument, I will be like, oh yeah, right, one time I have done that, and sometimes they'll get me though. There have been a couple that, like, of the 3 or 4 times I remember in recent memory I've had to use the, okay, name one time. They had receipts ready. Don't argue with a friend who remembers everything. They say an elephant never forgets. That one friend never forgets. They pulled up receipts. I was like, darn. I mean, you right? You're right, I had to hold that. And same thing for Karasu here. What the heck? Don't diss me if you can't even verbalize it. And that's true. If you cannot actualize your argument in the moment of why you disagree with me, dog, then you won't have an argument. Your vibes are off, okay? Cool story, bro. What else we got going? Like it is a true to form kind of thing. We're like, oh no. Anyways, like yeah, it's rough to hear, it's rough to feel, but that those do be the car facts. Let's see. Unlike what you're doing, at least I'm trying to change for Blue Lock's sake. The what? And see, that's and it works. It doesn't work. Cause that's the one that, like, in fact, hold on. I'm about to go do something silly, but and you know, I do think it's a very complicated. Hold on. Oop, I gotta go a little bit further back. It's still a Nigeria game. It is a very complicated thing to do, right? Especially like because I always say this all the time. Y'all probably get sick and tired of me saying it, but I do believe that humans are innately like we are a social species. We can't really like we can operate on our own, but not really. Like we're literally built to commingle, to interact, to function within grander systems. Like we are, right? Ultimately, as mighty as one man is, he's only as mighty as how many people he can get to agree with him. The richest man on the planet would have nothing if we all suddenly agreed that his money didn't matter. Right? Doesn't matter how much individual power someone has unless they have the influence on other people to enforce that power. It doesn't matter. Right? That is what's ultimately true. So, what Ego says, where he's like, completely ignore, disregard everything. But let me see. I won't use him. Okay, well, I'll be ousted from Blue Lock. This is different from yours. I won't hate you guys over to anyone. No, okay. I can't find it. But there is the pen. I thought it was in 3. I thought it'd be in 311. Is it not? Okay, maybe I gotta go back even further, just a little bit further. I highly doubt it though. Is it really before 311? Yeah, because that's not. Okay, essentially, I was looking for where Ego said you need to disregard any notions of doing it. Hold on, now I'm gonna keep looking. But the thing I'm looking for is Ego saying you need to disregard anything of doing it for Blue Lock, right? Like ultimately, it doesn't matter. Like all the memories, everything you've experienced up to this point, none of that's really relevant. What you need to do is be who you are. That's not great, but you need to be the best you are. That's the thing that matters. Not what Blue Lock is, any grand ideal. Karasu is ignoring that advice from Ego because in his mind, that advice isn't working right now. He needs to take on this new worldview of being second best and changing for Blue Lock's sake, which is now working. So, I'm not gonna get mad at Karasu. Karasu technically isn't wrong because he has the results on his side. How effective they'll be in the long run, though, we'll see. Let's see. Huh? Hold up, Karasu. That's what's bugging me. Oh, okay. Maybe he's gonna be able to articulate a little better. Huh? You just said you're doing it for Blue Lock's sake. Anything besides playing soccer for yourself isn't the way of the egotist. Okay, but see, that's closer. That's closer. I wouldn't say it's exactly the whole idea of doing everything for yourself to be the best version of yourself. But besides playing soccer for yourself isn't the way the egotist. That is technically true. And that goes into what I was talking about earlier, right? Where even when giving up the ball to Yukimiya, that was Isagi doing it for himself. Even when giving up the ball to Kunigami and Bartra, that was Isagi doing it for himself. For Ubers, Isagi doing it for himself. Himself. There's that. That is the more true idea. His hair is so tall here. But that is the true idea. Here is what I'm talking about. But that is the true idea of egoism at its core. At its foundations, at its fundamentals. Doing soccer, doing everything for yourself, but to be the greatest and best version of yourself in whatever role that happens to be, whatever role you choose to actualize. It's why, in spite of, say, getting the striker beaten out of him, I still say is undeniably an egotist, one of the greatest we've seen, for the fact that he's like, I'm going to be the greatest midfielder. I don't care how, I don't care when, I don't care how much time it takes, I'm going to do it. That's still the egotist mindset. So Karasu could keep this suitable destiny idea, but evolve it into egotism. Unironically, suitable destiny almost feels like egotism in like a more limited form. Meanwhile, egoism, it's like egoism on top being a more solidified version of suitable destiny. But let's see. all of us aiming to become the world's best striker. Oh, wait, see, no, see, you're losing again. He's how you lose it. Just as quickly as he's got me. Hey, what's going on? Yori's like, why are you talking to my boys like that? Let's see. You deviated from that philosophy because of what Hugo said. And now you're prioritizing the team's victory as a second best. That's not the Blue Lock way. But see, that's the issue. Isagi, you're also feeding. See, I can't support Isagi on this. But I think it is good, right? I do like that Isagi can still be wrong and still have character conflicts, and that he's in like perfect cherry rose good boy with the entire team, because that's boring. I do like this. But I see, and like I don't even have to. I see Karasu or farming in this bottom panel here with a blacked out face, but I can already hear Karasu's response being like, "Dog, you're gonna get mad at me for changing for the sake of Blue Lock. Well, the Blue Lock way isn't working." Like Karasu is right because Isagi is arguing wrong. It is truly the idea of, if you're going, like, formulate your argument in the best way you can, support to win. That was a horrible way to say it. Formulate your argument in the easiest way for you to convince somebody, right? Like, for example, if I wanted to say that Goku solos Blue Lock, would I bring, like, I don't know, baby Goku? No. I would say a full power, bloodlusted, knows everything ever. Like, if I'm like leaning as heavily as I can to make sure I can formulate my argument, I'm doing that. I'm bringing all the extra evidence, all the extra details, all the extra everything to make sure that the argument's solid. Isagi's not. He's too uncertain right now, and that feeds into the whole idea of his uncertainty, just generally. But let's say, then go on and score a goal, you trash. Ooh! But you know what? Once again, I can't even knock his hustle. He right though. Like why are we booing him? He right. Like legit right now, Isagi, you kinda buy it. Like you know, not in the same way he's actually literally, but like, dude, he right though. He right. Like I mean, he a little crazy for calling you trash like that out of nowhere. Like Karasu, what you do last match? I'm kidding. Karasu did stuff last match too, but still, like, dog, he is right. Oh no, you don't like how I'm doing things, but it's working though. It's as simple as that. You don't like it? Womp womp, it works. That do be how life be going sometimes, where womp womp. Oh no, my methods are bad and evil and you don't like them? They work. Let's say. Huh? Since you ain't effective as a striker, I've been trying to change based on our opponent's opinion. What about it? Would it be the Blue Lock way to let France kick our cheeks in just for Isagi Yoichi's sake? Looks to me like you're the one spinning his wheels, acting like number one, and trying to ruin Blue Lock, you ordinary fiend. Now, but you know what? I'd say specifically in the context of Blue Lock, this is, funny enough, that the whole idea, you shouldn't bully Blue Lock, but in the context of Blue Lock, that is the right way to respond to this. Bait him, like, get him angry. Get it, like, this is the time and place to do it. Because unironically, the angry Isagi Yoichi does play even better into Karasu's manipulations. But technically, like I said, I see why Karasu, and even if I think, and a lot of people brought up the idea, maybe Hugo's genuinely rage baiting. Right? Someone made a fantastic comment, and they're talking about how Hugo may not even believe the nonsense he's saying, right? And like the big thing I've always been like, oh well, Hugo may just be flat out wrong, and the argument is the existence of Charles and his role in Loki's life in comparison to Hugo not having a role in Loki's life seemingly. There is a further idea, the idea that Hugo may just legit be playing mind games. He has formulated everything to oppose Blue Lock, including a philosophy that will inherently weaken Blue Lock. If he can get their heart, their ace, their star, and many of his supporting members or the rest of the Blue Lock to believe in a philosophy that is inherently inferior to egoism in some way, shape, or form, while someone like Loki, someone like Noah, someone like, I'd say Prince, I'd say like some of the top players in the world clearly live by the more egoist philosophy, that's good. It will make Blue Lock less of a threat and weaker overall. So Hugo may be playing giga dumb stupid mind games, and in that way, he's being proven right on two fronts, because he's currently fracturing Blue Lock passively, or or fractioning right now. Ah, I did not mean to do that. Like currently, or fraction. Ah, there we go. Or fractioning right now. Well, at the same time, not really doing much. He's letting them destroy themselves by just planting the seed, and sometimes that's all you need to do. And yeah, like I said, I can't blame Karasu. He right though. He right. Why you booing him? He right. Let's see. But see, Isagi Yoichi, that's the issue, my friend. Yo. I know, Isagi. Isagi's not even short. He's like 5'9", but still, this is so funny. And then, oh, man, I'm all angry. And Ross is just... Because once again, as Isagi Yoichi, and this is where I always say, like, well, to be fair, I don't always say it, but whenever someone tells me about, oh, I lost such and such talk with so and so, I'm like, okay, but like, how did you bring it to him? And they'll explain it. I'm like, kind of walked into that argument. we were standing on solid enough ground. So right now, Karasu has the ground. Isagi and the way of Blue Lock, as Isagi has interpreted it and is trying to push it right now, has been failing, and then Karasu changed. First try, mind. Like, this is a big important thing. First try change immediately succeeded. So yeah, of course, Isagi can be the enraged lion against the rage baiting monkey, because it's like this is how it's going. I'm thinking about Blue Lock too, but you're thinking about it wrong, Isagi Yoichi. You're thinking about it wrong. You need to broaden your scope. You need both of you, technically, by doing it for Blue Lock in one way or another, thinking about Blue Lock so much, you're doing it wrong. You need to think about oneself. Let's see. I'm working so hard. I've been racking my brain about what I need to do for the best of Blue Lock. For Blue Lock all. And look at Karasu, yo. Shout out to girl. You know what? Honestly, despite me disagreeing with him, right? Like, this is a big thing to say. I disagree with him. I think he's wrong. Karasu, welcome to the top 10 characters, bro. Because he is currently battering him up. He is battering, like, literally, I have Whiting and Shrimp pulled out Thorn right now. Later, after I'm done with my recording sesh, I'm gonna go batter that up and throw this more, because like legit, he is rolling Isagi Yoichi over in the breadcrumbs and cornstarch and battering him up, because he's doing nothing but frying himself. Isagi Yoichi is heating up the oil right now to be fried. Let me see, Karasu. Look, you just said it yourself. For Blue Lock, how are you any different from me? Exact. See, yo, Karasu, I think you're wrong, gang. I think you're wrong, but Isagi's wrong too. This is genuinely a case where two wrongs don't make it right. But in this case, of one wrong, like, if I'm going with the lesser two evils, Karasu right now, his evil is looking a little bit lesser. So he cooking. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I could comment out like, gang, we're on live TV. Let's see. Okay, that's enough. Chill out, you two. You're both right. What if you try thinking like that? Oh! Okay, yeah, cool. Secret third option? Let's see. No denying that Karasu's method got results. And the egotistic philosophy Isagi's talking about is important too. See, note how he never brought up egoism. That's the difference. Isagi was so focused on striker this, striker that. It's the egotistic philosophy that's at the fundamental basis of that whole striker talk. That is the important part to reinforce. And the egotistic philosophy Isagi's talking about is important too. So let's make use of both. I mean, unironically, that's true. Yeah, I agree. There, see, okay. Look at Aiku, my glorious 23-year-old looking king. Really, like, oh no, that beard, man. The facial hair does age him a lot. Let's see. We'll fight with all we've got. We're finding a new shape for Blue Lock to win. How's that sound? It sounds legit. And that's the thing, giving it your all to be the best you can be. But being unafraid to change, that's method. That's method. Let's see. Well, let me see something. There we go. How's that sound? Okay. Fine by me. In any case, seems like it's time for Blue Lock to change. Interesting. No response from Ego, though. No response from Ego. He's letting this happen. But I guess, once again, it may be the time to let this happen. Let's see. Dang, they caught up with us. So annoying. It's like, WTF? No, emoji speak from Charles for 3 chapters in a row. Yeah. Whoa. Or eating good. Let's see. Well, I think this will be more fun than shutting them out. Okay, Loki. Like, okay, man, actually had to lock in a little bit. Okay, Loki. Let's see. Yeah. This is good. I'll keep leading this field toward its destiny. Okay, he may actually. He may believe his own hype a little bit too much, but Hugo dog, you will be proven wrong, buddy. You will fail. I feel it in my bones. Let's see. Just try it, you perfectionist freaks. Oh yeah, Rin. Yeah, he hasn't had any involvement in the conversation, but that does make sense. Let's see though. Rin versus Loki. This didn't go well last time. Let's see. I want a goal so badly I can't stand it. Okay, Mr. Destroyer Man. Let's see you cook. Let's see. Oh yeah, same. Why, yo? Why hitting that? Oh yeah, just give me like Ryuji Persona 5 flashbacks. They're like the. Oh yeah, like it wasn't even the same. I don't know what it is. Let's see. Oh yeah, same here. All right, let's see. Yo, these shots go crazy. No more. I mean, I'm not. Actually, no. I'm gonna say no more. Stop flexing on me. Keep flexing on me, dog. But still, jeez. Let's see. We've settled on our strategy for now, but we still haven't solved the fundamental issue. What of Loki? Well, let's see. That gold crosswind Hiyori made will be hard to use now that France is ready for it. Its reproducibility is too low. Okay, Isagi, your current goal structure and plan has a reproducibility of 0. Buddy, at this point, you're gonna have to come with new stuff. Let's see. Nothing will change unless I can make myself effective. But there's no way in heck that I'll live as second best. And I'm very interested because ASMR told me they were going to leave a comment on this review in particular to talk about like the experience of like centralizing yourself as the number 2 or the number 3. And Ego, hop off this man! Quite literally, let go of him! He is so beefy though. He's so big. But still, he actually looks kind of short here. Like if you saw you stood up, I feel like he'd be the same height. How big is he? But regardless, they say they're going to leave a comment. I'm very interested to see that. I guess, and funnily enough, I guess, going with the idea that I mentioned, I've never necessarily been number 1. But I guess the weird thing is, I never really been number 1 because there's, like I mentioned, there's always been someone bigger, stronger, smarter, better, whatever, in one way, shape, or form. But I guess because I was always trying to be the best of me, for me, by me, it never necessarily registered that I was. Like I for something I always reference, track, right? I was the 4th fastest guy. Like legit, not even top 3. Oh yeah, your boy wouldn't have medaled. I was legit 4th fastest behind a hurdler, a long jumper, and the other guy was. Oh no, he used to do long distance and he became a sprinter. Like I was behind 3 people, and the main thing I did was sprint. I picked up throwing later in life. Even then, I didn't really do much throwing. So like I was a sprinter flat out, and I was just 4th fastest. I was clearly de-optimized, but it didn't necessarily register me like, oh, I'm the 4th fastest guy. It was like, I'm doing the best I can. I'm gonna go. Same thing for me being like smart. I was like, think in the hierarchy, I was probably always that one. I could say probably like bronzed out, depending on the meta. Depending on the meta, like in some cases, I was just flat out top 1. Like I whooped chemistry. Chemistry was light. I mean, it wasn't ever a struggle. But then pre-calc did absolutely annihilate you, boy. So like there are times where like I was like number 1, and then I fluctuate between like number 2 and number 3. And overall, I think it was like number 3 in both like high school and college days, if I'm thinking about it properly. Because there was like yeah, I think it was like number 3, sometimes number 2 in college, and like I was just flat out number 3 on average because there were 2 people that just cleared me generally in high school. But once again, there is the idea of I didn't necessarily let that consume or define me, but now I do wonder, especially I'm interested in ASMR now, and anyone else's examples, right? If you have examples of where you've centralized yourself as second best or number 3 or number 4 or the 7th, 3rd, what did it mean for you? Did it make you better? Did it make you greater? Did it let you understand things better or let you see things in a different perspective? Because notably, I guess the issue with my narrow-minded perspective is I never really like optimized being number like the 4th fastest guy or the 2nd or 3rd smartest guy or like the 5th or 6th best artist or anything like that. But I just because I had the culmination of self as one thing, I was like, oh well, I'm master. I guess the only quote unquote rationalization I ever had was jack of all trades, master of none. But how the rest of that phrase goes, better than one, right? I did a whole lot. I was very diverse, from acting to acting to academics to physical stuff. Like I did literally everything. I was in variety of I did a whole lot. So I wasn't the best, but I didn't necessarily think about it in that way. So for anyone who has not been the best, but has actualized and focused on that and re-centralized yourself around that, what did that do? I'm interested. Let me know. Let's see. Second best is just another kind of ego. But like, once again, I at least from my limited perspective right now, and I'm going to check that in comments and read to get more perspective. But I think it's one thing to become second best when actualizing one's full self. I think it's different to be second best while focusing on being second best. Like, I don't know. There's always a bigger fish is something I understand and live by. But I don't ever want to know that I'm the smaller fish, if that makes sense. Like, I'd always even if it is delusion, I always want to believe that, oh no, I can be the best. I just gotta keep going. But let's see. Being the best. Yo! Isagi, you gotta let this man stop touching you, bro. You gotta, yo. Isagi, bro, you gotta let this man stop touching you, yo. Like, why does he got hands? He's resting his chin on your shoulder, bro. No. Isagi. First you get fried by Karasu. Next you're getting literally you were double battered and deep fried by Karasu, and Hugo's eating you up right now. I got my back stressing, dog. Isagi, fight back. Look at him. You know he's being taken right now, bro. Isagi, please, bro, please. Okay, throw him off. Yo, these angles are going crazy. Yo, you're in the mortar. Who you feeling like? Let's see. So listen up, Yoichi Isagi, and I'll tell you about my ego as second best. Oh, okay, so perfect. So I'll get comment responses, hopefully, and then Hugo will go into his egoism. All right. A very W chapter. I'm gonna have to go. After I'm done recording this, I'm gonna have to go look what the common consensus is around the chapter, because I know, like, part of me wonders, are Isagi fans gonna be like me and be like, you know, I love when my main character struggles and suffers and slanders and makes mistakes, and thusly this is peak, or are they gonna be like, how could they do this to my glorious baby boy? Honestly, I love this chapter for dunking on Isagi. You may be like, whoa, isn't Isagi literally your favorite character? Yeah. I love it when my main characters are wrong and they struggle and they fail. So I love seeing that. And I do, and like, the thing I love the most, at least in this, is that Ego didn't say anything, right? He's there looking. He's holding, like, he's literally holding the same pose. Oh, well, he went from this to that. Like, he didn't say anything. He lets them stew in this moment and understand themselves and go through this discussion. And very particularly, I love that Karasu, from the perspective of the argument brought to him, wins. Right? If this were, dare I say, a lesser series, Isagi would just be proven right or something like that immediately. But no, all the Carfax point to Karasu being in the right. So what does he earn? He earns the right to be right here. Isagi falls short and fails. And it is Aiku bringing this third grander idea of being the best of oneself, but operating differently. That works and acts as a counterpoint or not even a counterpoint, an assist point that brings these two feuds together to essentially calm the chaos that was brewing in Blue Lock. Will it actually work out? Doubtful. They're probably still going to lose to France. I don't see, like, they're not beating France. But still, regardless, I'm more than happy to see them cook like this. I love seeing Isagi Yoichi go through struggles. I love Karasu getting to have his moment. I like Aiku coming in as team captain to calm everything down, which what he was specifically trained to do, which is probably why Ego relaxes a little bit here and lets his hands down. And then Hugo, as much as I fundamentally disagree with him and his philosophy and his view on life, and as much as I think it is way too limiting and kind of weird. Like, I've seen certain takes about Hugo, which I think is, well, a little bit too much. But still, I get why people go a certain way with Hugo, because darn does he go a certain way. But still, I like Hugo, and it's a little bit of freakiness. And how he's so insistent on breaking Isagi Yoichi down. Either for his own motivations, for the grander scheme of friends, this, that, and the third. And I do love, something I have to admit, I do love the two main egotists, the two number ones, right? The ones that are greater and beyond all this. They have no input on this. Loki and Rin don't care. Isagi's going through mental turmoil right now because he's a logic man. But these two geniuses, they could not care at all. They're here for goals in the game. That's all they care about. And it's great to see these two embody the ideals of egoism to the best while Isagi Yoichi struggles. So overall, a very W chapter. So if you're going to only see this video, please do me a favor and leave. Fry that puzzle piece. Fry that puzzle piece in the comment section down below. But thanks so much for watching. So leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any music in the channel. Also, we're going to have a Patreon below where you support me for as well as one kid a month. Things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as well as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks include the live reactions, here with this year's empty review, ad-free reactions of all my videos, early ad-free access to all my videos, early ad-free access not just all my videos here on the main channel, but all the videos on this second channel. That called the reaction. Link in the description down below and in the card in the upper right. I'm so stupid. Upper right. And on top of that, you get your name listed at the end of every single video. And if you are a $3 member or $3 patron or higher, you get your name listed and read aloud at the end of every single video. On top of that, I do have a link to my Twitch that got the controller in the description down below. I stream every Friday at 8 p.m. ES Tizzle. Roll through if you want to have a good old jolly old wonderful old time with your boy and others where we chat about literally anything and everything. On top of that, I do have a link to my Ko-Fi in the description below where you can drop 5 minutes for a short video, 20 minutes small video, or any views at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now I want to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off. Alright, lady, thank you to our sketch tier members: Eternal Flame, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Glacier XZ, Zera, J2MA, Buddha Ura, Yuki Ally, Grim, Ollie, The Boy, Corey Watson, Damon Brown, Dino, Hector Gonzalez, Tim Thomas, Kaving, RXN, Logan Guzman, Dead Meme, Keon Stewart, Donovan McIntosh, Hamza Idrisi, BNA DNA, Edwin Indignoba, Straw, Atenzi Shear, Antavius Mitchell, Superflame Zero, Weary Exile, Window Life, Alex Kenny, Todd, The Practical One, Landon Clapwick, Heath Nelson, CAET, Funny Dude, Jagoda, Plant Crone, Striker Man, Brandon Payne, Black Sage, Multi-Batman Superman, The Limbs, Sheesh King, Joe Bean, Aswin Hey Presetia, Sleepin' John, JMD KD, The Young Family, Pastel Pandora, Sino King, NMA, Karina Hernandez, Mo City King, DKG, Andrine Bonnet, John Malcolm, Akolare Babatunde, ASD 1234, Jesse Clapp, CCC, Ramondo Furin, Sky XT, Victor Jacobs, Axis XC, Osen Tebwick, BDM, Kingly, at JDog2656, and Union I. Then I'd like to give a thank you to our line art tier patrons: A+A, Dread Zoen, Karina Hernandez, Kevin Encarnacion, Lil Kodo, Midnight Lord 21, and Sean. Then I'd like to give a thank you to our Inc. tier members: King RTX, Shrimpo the 4th, Shrimp 06, and Zom. Then I'd like to give a thank you to our digital art tier members: J Warrior and AZ Void. Then I'd like to give a final thank you to our colored art tier patrons: Walkie Munoz, and Ernesto 430.